Peace, my beautiful people, my loves. This is a long time coming, okay? I want to tell you that this method that I'm about to teach you, saying it'll change your life is definitely an understatement. It has been a method that I've created, that I've channeled from my higher self, from my spirit guides, that I've used with so many clients. I've taught this method in Costa Rica, in Thailand, and of course, the Creation Container last year, which we did 2 times. And I am still getting emails from my people about how their manifestations are still showing up and coming in, and all the new things are still coming in even after all this time. So I'm so happy to be teaching you this method. This is a 5-step process that can really change your life. And before we get started, I just want to say who this is for, okay? Because there are some people who this is not for. And if you're ready, or let me start off like this. If you want a quick fix, if you want to just wave your wand and everything is completely different, everything is okay, the Star of Creation may not be for you. Because a quick fix will not give results of longevity. A quick fix will not give you results that will really change your life. The fact of the matter is, we all came in here as human beings as truly limitless. We all came in here as reflections of Source, and we know Source is love, and Source is this energy of complete abundance, of complete unconditional love, and complete limitlessness. And so what that means also is that Source is everything. All the things that we desire are Source. Source is abundance. Source is love. Source is peace. Source is flow. Source is effortless. We came in here as reflections of Source. We came into this life as reflections of Source, which means that that same limitlessness that you know that Source is, you are. And when you're in this stage of rediscovering yourself, a lot of us get to the point where we begin to understand that we have pushed our manifestations away. We have pushed away at some capacity through our limiting beliefs, through our negative belief systems, the things that we desire. Why? Because we're so much more in control of this reality experience than we think. Our belief systems, of course, set the stage for our feelings and our thoughts. And then our actions are inspired by both of these or all of these things. And then from them, we get our results. But we also know that we have the ability, if we can create our reality, we have the ability to recreate our reality. So if you're looking for a quick fix, you're really just looking for a surface level manifestation. But if you're looking for an entire transformation, if you're looking for subconscious reprogramming work, if you're looking to shift your sense of self, if you're looking to really start showing up in this life as the limitless being that you are, then this is for you. If you're looking to really step up as the leader, increase your business, increase your creativity, really be in tune with your higher self, this is for you. If you're looking to have a system that you can use for literally anything that you desire, this is for you. But if you want to come in here and do nothing, then this ain't for you. It's not for you. It's not for you. I have to tell you that. I do have to tell you that. This is why this is an application process to the Creation Container. This is why it's so important that I call in the people who really want to do the work. Because if you really want to transform your life, it's going to take these 5 steps. And these 5 steps are it's going to take you through a portal. It is going to take you through a portal. And the portal is going to be a complete purging and a complete rebirth of all the limiting beliefs and all the negative habits that have put you in this space. You have created your reality. Now it's time to recreate it. And this is exactly what the Creation Container is all about. So let's dive into this 5-step process. I'm gonna put it right here. This is the Star of Creation. Yes. Take a moment, maybe even draw this on your paper. Maybe that'll be really good for you too, because we're gonna be going through not just this, but also the 3 sub-phases within each category. And we're gonna go into how to create and manifest anything that you desire, using both the combination of masculine energy and feminine energy. So let's start off with the first stage, okay? This is intention. Now you may be sitting and thinking, okay, Elizabeth, this is intention, but what about my manifestation? Like, I know there's a difference between intention and manifestation, but where does my manifestation go? Baby, let me tell you, in the middle of the Star of Creation, as you can see, it's blank. This is because your manifestation is gonna be in the middle. Why is your manifestation in the middle and not at the top? Well, it's because your intention is going to have many different physical manifestations that it's going to show up as. And as you go through the other 4 phases of the Star of Creation, you're going to see that your intention will actually be the gift that keeps on giving. Things that you never thought would be possible for you, things that you never thought that you could align with, things that you never thought you could attract are going to come from you forming your intention and going through the other 4 phases. So your manifestation is important here, but it's not as important as your intention, which is why we focus on the intention more so than the manifestation, which is again in the middle. So let's talk about it. Your intention phase has 3 sub-phases. That's centering, expanding, and balancing. The centering phase is gonna be where you sit down and you really look within to ask, who am I? Beyond what I do for other people, beyond how I show up in the world, beyond the titles or the things that I've accomplished, who am I? Put the ego to the side, put all these things to the side. Who are you at your core? This is so important, my loves, because when we go into that centering phase, what we're really doing is we're beginning to ask ourselves, is our manifestation really even in alignment with my heart's desire? It's really important that we begin to bring these questions into question, because your higher self wants to help you manifest anything that's of your heart's desire. But if there is anything that you're trying to manifest that you know damn well is not really in alignment with you, your higher self is going to be hands off in this situation. Okay, but we begin to understand what we want, if what we want is in alignment with our higher self, when we really truly know who we are. See, what we experience in this body level is a very small percentage of who we are. But when we tune into our soul on this body level in this human experience, when we tune into who we really are, when we tune into what our safe space is, when we tune into who we were before the trauma, who we were before all the things that we've gone through, when we tune into who are we when we are truly authentic, that's a glimpse into who our higher self actually is. Our higher self is the version of us who exists in that limitless space, the version of us who exists in that space of complete sovereignty, of complete power, of claiming every space as their own. And when we tune into the part of us that still exists in that beautiful space, that's how we can center. And then from that space, when we ask, what do we truly want to bring into this life that mirrors that aspect of ourselves, that's when we can really begin to center in on what our heart truly desires. And then from that space of centering, we can then begin to expand. Okay? Expand, extend, expand, extend. Now, what does that really mean? When we begin to expand, we look within, and then we ask, how can we keep what we are going to be given? We only can keep what we give away. And so how can we then give away what we are about to be given? Okay, follow with me here. You can only attract who and what you are. We know we are the base of all the things that we desire. Why? Because the things that we desire give us a permission slip to feel the feelings that we want to feel within. But if we begin to realize that our bodies, our minds, and our focus is the permission slip, then we can continue to cultivate the feelings that we know the manifestation is going to give us. And so from that space of cultivating those feelings, of asking, okay, with this intention, how am I going to feel? And then by giving those feelings back into the world, how can I give this away? How can I be a tool for this energy to continue to be expressed through me into my community? How can my community benefit from me having this manifestation? I don't care if it's a move, I don't care if you want a car, I don't care, whatever the case is. How is everybody around you going to benefit from you having this manifestation? This is how you begin to expand. This is how you begin to really be a pillar of expression of the energy that you're bringing in. And then when you're in that state of reciprocity, then it is natural that you come into balance. See, again, I'm going to say it again, you only get to keep what you give away. And so in this intention phase, where we really begin to sit down and ask who we are, what we're trying to bring in, and how we can give this back to the world. We begin to shift into a state of reciprocity with the universe and with our collective community. Now, why is this so important? So important. Because a lot of times when we're manifesting and we're pushing forward and we're going, what ends up happening is we get burnt out. Why do we get burnt out? Because you're only relying on yourself and your human energy to push you forward. You're only relying on discipline to yourself to push you forward. You're only relying on the energy that you feel. And again, that energy goes up and down. So how are you even supposed to keep going if you're only relying on yourself? With this intention phase, what is so important is that we shift it again to that state of reciprocity so that we're able then to dip into the collective energy. When you're able to see how your intention is going to benefit everybody around you, you dip into a strength and a force and a pull that is bigger than yourself. You dip into a strength and a faith that is bigger than yourself. What we're doing is we're really beginning to build momentum around our intention by including the collective energy within our sphere. And when we do that, you begin to be unstoppable, because it's not just about you, because you're not acting just from your energy. You make it about more of the collective and the community, and you make it more about who is going to benefit as well as how you are going to benefit. And then you see the larger picture of the collective consciousness really coming together and literally helping you birth this. Your intention is not just about clarity, it's about your purpose. It's about what you know you came here to do. It's about who you're showing up as and how you're going to continue to give this to the world. Doesn't matter what you're trying to bring in this moment. I need you to get clear. And if you're not clear, stop right now and go to How to Find Your Purpose free ebook. Start there. But we will be doing that deep purpose work, and we will be going through that intention in the creation container. But let's keep going and let's really talk about the other aspects of the star of creation. Now, I have my notes here. Baby, you know that I'm a little wordy. You know I'm a little heady, so I have to have my notes. The second phase of this, of course, is going to be your transformation. And the three phases of the transformation phase, or the transformation stage, are prepare, express, and extend. Okay, so let's talk about it. The transformation phase is possibly the most, what's the word? It is the rebirth. It is the phoenix phase of the star of creation. When you use the star of creation, it could be so fun. We're going through the intention. We're getting clear. Oh, we can feel it. We can see all the people who are going to benefit. We can see and feel the impact. We can see and feel how our manifestation is literally going to help the world. And then when we get into the transformation phase, baby, you got to say, hold on. Number one, prepare. What in my body is saying that I can't do this? What are the limiting or negative belief systems that I'm still holding that are stopping me from fully moving towards putting action to my intention? In the transformation phase, this is when you really begin to ask, how am I getting in my own way? Now, this is where you have to begin to really look at your subconscious. Again, we start off by looking at that intention and saying, how is my body reacting to this? How is my body reacting to this? What is my mind telling me? What are the shadow selves and the shadow voices in my head beginning to tell me? And in the transformation phase is really when we unpack the trauma that is stopping you from becoming your most limitless self. This is not just a manifestation thing, babe. This is a whole subconscious rewiring through releasing the trauma. And so we begin to do this again. Let's start over again with preparation. Again, just notice how your body is reacting. You may notice a lot of my work is very heady, is very subconscious, but a lot of my work is very heavily based on meditation. Why is this? Because meditation forces you to come back into your body. And so when you come into the transformation phase, it is literally a meditation and an initiation into your limitlessness through looking at your shadows, looking at the limiting beliefs, and beginning to undo the trauma that is literally keeping you stagnant. So let's talk about this a little bit more in depth. We know that there is preparation, but then we have expression. And so when we're able to locate the limiting beliefs and then find the foundation of the limiting beliefs, this is asking, again, when you get into that limiting belief, oh, I feel like I can't do this. Why? Asking the limiting belief, asking the shadow self over and over again, show me the end. Show me the end. Show me why I think I can't do this. What is the reason why my mind is telling me that I'm incapable? What is the reason why my mind is telling me I'm unworthy? Where do I feel this in my body? What is this feeling trying to tell me? The next phase is going to be that expression phase, when we actually are able to give a voice to the foundation of the negative or limiting belief systems that are keeping us stagnant. This is why it is so intimidating, and this is why it can be really difficult, because we're giving our demons a voice. We are letting them express themselves. We're letting them talk, and we're facing that shit. Because if you don't face it, if you don't feel it, if you don't look that demon in its eyes and say, okay, this is when I met you. This is the point. I can remember when I can remember feeling this way. This first time that I felt this way, the first time that I met this belief, the first situation or circumstance that really made this belief become embedded in my energy, become embedded in my aura. When you really are able to do that deep tracing work and release those limiting beliefs, and allow them to express themselves, that is when you begin to have a complete cellular and energetic detox. So we understand that trauma is formed, especially when we're children and when we're teenagers, it's formed from us over-personalizing or overburdening traumatic situations in our lives. This means that we go through something and we explain the situation from the only perspective that we have, which is our own. And so we say that maybe we're the reason why certain things happened, or there's something wrong with me. This is why this happened to me. We over-personalize or overburden the traumatic situations that we go through. This is just how trauma is formed in the brain. And from those foundational moments, those traumatic moments, they create, to be honest, it's almost like a tear in the auric field. A tear, or maybe palpably, or how I'm feeling this into, or how I'm feeling this energetically is like a block in the flow of energy. Because what begins to happen is that our sense of self begins to be distorted. The more that we have a overburdened or personalized view on our trauma, the more that our sense of self begins to be distorted. And from that trauma and from that distorted sense of self, our subconscious then begins to have a filter up, have a wall up. Well, I know this about myself, so I must reject this positive belief. Well, I feel this way about myself. This is who I am as a person, so I'm going to accept in this negative belief. And so when we begin to really understand where and why we hold these negative belief systems, and we tune into the body and release this energy once and for all, it begins to be so much bigger than your manifestation. This is why this creation container is so important, because it's not just about what you want to manifest. It's about literally completely transforming and shifting your relationship with yourself. And that transformation phase is going to allow you to not just express, not just prepare, but also extend. Now, what does that mean? The extend phase of the transformation stage is the ability to retrieve who you were before the trauma, retrieve the inner child and create a safe space for them. What are the things that you needed to hear? What are the ways that you wish that someone else showed up for you in those moments? How can you re-explain those traumatic situations to your younger self? And when you have a different relationship with that core memory, when you have a different relationship with that core trauma, then what begins to happen is you have a different relationship with yourself, because your sense of self is no longer distorted. You begin to unhook those deep wounds and deep cords that trauma had on all versions of you. And you begin to fully re-emerge with who you were before the trauma. And so this allows you to extend, and this extension process is reaching back in and rediscovering who you actually are. The rebirth is not becoming anyone anyone or anything else other than who you always have been. So it's a recovery. It's a recovery. And we do 2 weeks. We do 2 weeks, 2 whole weeks just on transformation in the creation container, because it will be a lot that comes up. But when you go through that transformation phase, your brain, your brain will be completely rewired because of the deep trauma release that you will go through. Again, coming back into the body, feeling into where these limiting beliefs are living in the body. What comes up? What resistance comes up when I see my manifestation? When I think about my manifestation, what resistance comes up? And where can I trace that back to? Because that first version of us who experienced that trauma is the version of us who needs to heal, not the version of you now. That version of us who first experienced that trauma, that's the version of us who keeps getting triggered. And that's why it's so funny that we can keep, ingesting the spiritual content. We can keep ingesting all these beautiful quotes, but it all stays in the mind until you come back into the body. It all stays in the mind until you retrieve that version of you who still has that physical or that knee-jerk reaction to the trigger. And so the transformation phase is all about rebirth and coming back into alignment with who you really are. Now, the next phase of the Star of Creation is going to be your tools. It's going to be your tools. Now, this is where we begin to increase that momentum again. And it's almost like the intention forms this ball of energy. We begin to create it, cultivate that energy, and we begin to grow it and grow it and grow it. We go into that transformation phase where we release all the baggage of all the things that we know no longer serve us and come back into alignment with ourselves. And then we reform that energy again and begin to gain really fast momentum again with our tools. Okay? Now the tools are the rediscovery of your gifts. The tools are rediscovering both your ancestral gifts as well as the actual external tools, your network, your skills that are going to allow you to align with your manifestation. Now, 3 phases of your tools. I love this Star of Creation, okay? Unlock, flow, and receive, baby. Unlock, flow, and receive, okay? Unlock. When it comes to unlocking your tools, what this really involves is sitting with yourself long enough, knowing yourself well enough, and sitting in communion with your higher self still enough to be able to ask, what do I have in me right now that is going to propel me into the timeline that I desire? What do I have within me right now that is the essential piece of the puzzle? What do I have within me right now that I may have been overlooking, that I may not have trusted in the past, that I may have told myself is insignificant? Your tools are going to allow you, and going to the tools phase rather, is going to allow you to unlock the parts of you that truly want to be expressed. So in the tool phase is where we discover our ancestral gifts and discover the actual physical tools that we have that will bring our manifestation to fruition. So in the tool phase of the Star of Creation, this is when you're actually going to be able to realign with the gifts that you naturally have that are going to put you in front of your manifestation. We know that we're not chasing. We know that we're not pushing forward. We know that we're not moving only from masculine energy. This is where we're going to begin to become a magnet for our desires by pulling them in to be naturally in resonance with us, because we are fully shifting into our full and complete selves. Now, what does that mean? The things that you desire you, but they can only find you if you're being completely and 110,000% authentic. Your authenticity also encompasses you expressing to the world who you actually are. All of your gifts, all of your skills, all of the beautiful things that you love. How can you express them? How can you continue to unlock these gifts? By expression. Your tools is when you're able to really, in the tool phase, is when you're able to really come into realignment with your gifts, with your power, and your natural authenticity that are going to magnetize your blessings and your intention to you. Again, your manifestation can only find you if you're being your complete self. So again, we have unlock, flow, and receive. This is a combination of masculine energy with feminine energy, because what we're also allowing ourselves to do is, as we're moving in our authenticity, as we're working in that state of flow and ease, what we're going to begin to do is affirm and understand within our bodies, within our bones, that it is safe for us to receive the things that are for us. We begin to embody this belief by acting authentically, by creating authentically, and by allowing that manifestation to find us, because we're naturally being ourselves. When we shift into that state of reciprocity, this is the only time that the overflow of abundance and love and peace can actually find you. But you have to begin to locate exactly how they're going to find you. And the way that they're going to find you is through you being yourself. It's through you expressing your gifts. It's through you coming into full, unconditional, complete acceptance of who you are. And it is by you coming into your full acceptance of who you are that you're actually able to shift into embodying and claiming your tools and your natural gifts. Now, in the tool process, we also do a lot of ancestral work. So this is where you're going to be going to your altar. This is where you're going to be sitting in meditation. This is where you're going to be doing your water rituals, doing your fire rituals, really tapping into, okay, what is here that I have overlooked? What is here that I have previously said no to? And how can I begin to say yes to myself and to my gifts, knowing that that process will also have me saying yes to my manifestation? And so unlock, flow, and receive. By you shifting into your authenticity after we've gone through that deep transformation phase is how you're going to begin to move through your tool phase. Now, the next phase is your plan of action. Now, I'm gonna be completely honest with you, my loves. In the past creation containers, we focus a little bit too much on time that I like to admit. We used to do a 3-day, 3-week, 3-month cycle of things to check off your list, your pleasure list, your action items, your intention list, and things like that. However, in this round of the creation container, we're actually going to be only focusing on timeline jumping and timeline shifting, quantum shifting and timeline jumping through aligning our actions with our new self. Now, who is the new self? The new self is going to be who you discover in your intention phase. The new self is who you're going to become in your transformation phase. Your new self is going to be who comes forward in your tool phase. And so in your plan of action, again, we have 3 stages. That's act, realize, and relate. Act, realize, and relate. And so we can begin to quantum shift. Now that we've done all the heavy energetic work in the first 3 phases, we're gonna begin to quantum shift by putting our money where our mouth is, by actually lining up our intentions with the things that we know we want to live in, and lining up our actions with our intentions. Lining up our actions with our intentions in the life that we know we want to live. And so here we're gonna still be working with the 3-6-9 method, but we're really gonna be focusing on shifting faster than ever before. We're not focusing on time, we're focusing on feeling. We're focusing on flow. We're focusing on feeling state, okay? And so we know that our reality, again, we know that our reality is created from our beliefs, our feelings, our thoughts, our actions, and our result. But we can begin to timeline shift by knowing the result that we want, aligning all of our actions with it, and shifting our feeling state and our belief system simultaneously. This is how we can see overnight success. This is how we can see complete turnaround 180 of your entire life within a very short amount of time. The key here that's really important is having accountability and becoming devoted to your intention. You're gonna be able to cultivate that in the creation container. We're gonna have a group chat, we're gonna have a progress tracker, we're gonna have all these things that are really going to require you to show up. Don't just show up the first day. You better show up all these days, okay? You better show up every day in the group chat. Because we're gonna have so many other like-minded souls, like-minded people, like-hearted people who are gonna be going through this process at the same time as you. Now, I want to go into more details about the creation container later, but let's continue to focus on the star of creation. Tool phase is really going to be based on pleasure, based on cultivating feeling states. And from cultivating that feeling state, then we go into our flow. So we're gonna focus on shifting that home frequency. We're gonna focus on shifting our vibrational set point. We're gonna do this through meditation, through deep transformational work. We're also gonna be doing this through breath work. And then we're going to realign all of our actions. From that new feeling state that we've cultivated, we're gonna begin to realign all of our actions to face north. That north is gonna be your intention. That north is gonna be your manifestation. That north is gonna be the timeline that you know you're shifting into. We're making big changes from our bigger feeling state, and things are manifesting at a whole faster rate than you've never seen before, okay? Now, the fifth phase of the star of creation is gonna be embodiment. I'm sure you've heard this, but let's talk about it. Embodiment, embodiment, embodiment. The intention that you've set, the manifestation that you're bringing in. When you think about it, when you visualize it, when you think about it coming into your life, how does your body feel? How does your body feel? How does your energy feel? Take a moment and just tune in. How does your body feel? Can you hold that? Can you hold that long enough to see it start to physically manifest? The issue is a lack of consistency many times when we're trying to manifest, we're trying to bring things into fruition. What ends up happening is we can hold that feeling state maybe for 10 minutes or maybe for a day, but if you hold that shit for a couple weeks, do you know all the crazy things that will start to happen? So let's talk a little bit more about embodiment. Again, embodiment has three phases: transformation, connection, and manifestation. So notice how we have the star of creation mirroring itself right now. We have that transformation phase right on the right, and then we have embodiment right on the left. And both of those phases kind of circle back in. They go back and forth with each other, okay? In your embodiment phase, you're gonna have to use aspects and tools from your transformation phase to continue to maintain that state of embodiment. So you're gonna feel a little bit of resistance, but that's again why we're doing 2 weeks. We're doing another 2 weeks. So this whole process is 8 weeks, but we're doing another 2 weeks on the embodiment phase to make sure that you are holding this new state of being consistently enough to see results with very little action, okay? With action that's only from the pleasurable state, only from your new feeling state. And when you have very intentional action from a space of full embodiment, you don't have to do as much. The world works in alignment with you because your manifestation hears the call that you're putting out from your energy. Okay, so again, the first stage of embodiment is going to be your transformation phase. So again, we're seeing any resistance that's coming up as we're embodying, as we're claiming these new things over ourselves. We're noticing the resistance that's coming up. We're continuing to show up. We're continuing to show out. Okay, and then the next phase is going to be your connection phase. And so this is when we really begin to pull in the higher self and ask, okay, higher self, show me how you're already here, and show me how I can continue to, and start to rather, shift into you completely. So the version of you who has your manifestation, how do they look? How do they feel? How do they talk? How do they walk? These are things that you can commit to right now that can pull in your manifestation literally today. But can you devote the energy to making that shift? We understand that the only reason why we are stuck in cycles is because we keep choosing it in one way, shape, or form. And this pattern disruption that many of us really need is a change in the state of being, a change in our feeling state, a change in the energy and the emotions that we're experiencing on a day-to-day basis. And we can choose right now for this moment to be the exact time that we make that shift. But what actions do you have to do to really cultivate that shift and keep that shift very solid? This is the embodiment phase. This is aligning all of your actions and your intention with your new way of being, with your new I am, with the new version of you, or really the recovered or rebirth version of you who you are now choosing to fully embody and become. When you're in your embodiment phase, there's gonna be many times where you're like, oh, am I really who I say I am? Go back to that limiting belief. Go back to whatever belief is telling you that it can't be you. Go back to any belief that's telling you that I can't be here, that I can't be now, all of those things. Release them with your tools from transformation. We talked about that at the beginning of this video. And step into your embodiment. Become devoted to your embodiment. This is how we again begin to truly transform. Keeping consistency with your embodiment for long enough to see your results begin to materialize. And so transform, connect, and manifest. This is the state of effortlessness. This is the state of easefulness. And this is the state where you become who you always have been. Again, in the creation container, we dedicate 2 weeks, yes, another 2 weeks to the embodiment phase. This is because we're going to be pushing the envelope. We're going to be doing all the things that make you uncomfortable. We're going to be really showing up as a new version of us and showcasing this new version of us. And in this new version of us, we will truly be able to see a beautiful new life be birthed. So take all this information, sit with it, marinate with it, allow it to just seep in, okay? And create your star of creation. This is a really beautiful process that can really help you manifest anything that you desire in your entire life. But the question is, are you going to maintain that level of devotion? Are you going to maintain that level of discipline? Are you going to decide that this is the day that changes everything? If you want to join us in the creation container, please come forward. This is 8 weeks and we go through the star of creation in depth. I give you all the tools that you need. We have a group chat. We have a progress tracker. It's all on my app. We have a workshop for every single stage, a live workshop, a Zoom workshop for every single stage, on top of the fact that we will definitely be having office hours. And y'all know who has been part of the creation container before, the office hours is where it's at. This is where you get to have one-on-one help with me, and I help you really move through the work that we're going to be doing together. If you decide to devote 8 weeks to this process, you will see results. If you decide to devote 8 weeks to this process, you will see expansion. But again, it is only if you are ready. If you're ready to step into your purpose, if you're ready to step into alignment, and if you're ready to become the version of you who you have always been. So the creation container is for those who need the tools, who want the tools, who are ready to expand. It's for business owners, people who are ready to scale, people who are ready to step into a new level of abundance. It's for people who want to manifest their divine partner. It's for people who really are ready for a change. But if you're ready, please apply. I'm only taking visionaries and I'm only taking people who are ready to birth this change. Read the results from the past. Maybe I'll put some here. Boop, 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 boop. But the creation container is my favorite thing to do because it is the best process that I've ever created. So I love y'all so much. Let me know if you have any questions whatsoever, and I'll be talking to you very, very soon. We begin on the 18th. Bye.